It's a lost cause, brother. As long as you and I team Leanne, Dorothy won't have anything to do with this.
I'm not Team Leanne.
You sure about that? She seems to make everything work out all right for you.
That was a scene from this week's episode 4, Boo. My name's Sonia, and next to me is
Bill.
We'll be covering Apple TV's original series and the final season of Servant. This is episode 4 of season 4, Boo.
And that's what I say, boo, to the whole episode. But the description for this not good episode, in my opinion, reads that Sean sees Leanne's true colors while she's hunting her enemies on Halloween. And what do you think they meant by true colors? I think it's the sofa scene. Maybe that night when Dorothy fell, Leanne moved the sofa. Remember you were asking, what happened to the sofa? It's always been at the bottom of the stairs. Well, there's a scene where Sean is standing there at the banister that's been repaired. And he's looking down, and guess what's back there? The sofa. So
You think he realizes that?
Yeah, that she actually made that happen. You know, she meant for it. That's why she moved the sofa so she'd hit the ground instead of the sofa. You know, we always wondered if it was just subconscious, and now I think we know it was conscious. And Sean knows it too. But I think the show writers had an opportunity here to push the boundaries. Come on, this is the 4th episode. We're almost halfway through this season and still no real answers.
I couldn't agree more. We need something to happen. The writers of this episode were Amy Louise Johnson and Ishana Knight. The director was Dylan Holmes Williams. He's based out of London, and he's done work on short films like The Devil's Harmony, which actually won a prize at Sundance in 2020.
Well, this episode's not going to win no prize.
This episode was a hot mess. And we're naming it Grim, because that's what it was. It was grim. We're at a point where we need some answers.
Maybe in episode 9. I think that's the episode M. Night directed, right? So episode 9 in season 1 was also the big reveal of what happened to Jericho.
That would make sense. Servant has a habit of recycling a lot of the same material, so I wouldn't be surprised in episode 9 of this season, that's the big reveal too.
God, I don't want to wait that long for
Me either.
stuff, but
yeah,
give us something. Throw us a bone.
Yeah. I almost feel like everything we've seen so far, they've shown to us already in the trailer before the season 4 even began. So the only thing I really saw in this episode were some parallel scenes from prior episode, which they always do.
Yeah.
For example, here's a scene from a previous episode where Leanne regurgitates a similar line about the scariest part of her getting angry is that she's starting to like the way she feels.
I can feel the dark thing in me getting bigger. The scariest part is that I'm starting to like the way that it feels.
This was our first encounter with Leanne, like where she was talking to her mom. I mean, the mannequin.
It was. And we are made to believe here that the shadowy figure we saw in the previous episode was Leanne's dream, and that the shadowy figure was Leanne.
Yeah. Was that the same one from The Notebook? You know, the dark, shadowy figure that was on fire or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we originally thought it was him. One of the first things we see in this episode is that, again, it's Halloween on Spruce Street. And I want to know, how did these little delinquent kids have time to spray paint, well, Cool Whip, I think it is, all those ding-dongs on the car windows?
There wasn't that many cars on the street. Probably didn't take that long. That kid was a real troublemaker, though, from the start. He not only vandalized the cars, but he also stomped on the neighbor's jack-o'-lantern.
Right in front of them. Gosh.
Inside the house, in typical Dorothy fashion, she's watching videos of herself, of her old reporting days, and they used to call her the Queen of Halloween.
Okay. Yeah, and in true Sean fashion, he is just really kissing her butt.
Sean's really trying to get in her good graces. Did you know, though, that the character Walker, he's dressed as a dog here, is a real newscaster in Philadelphia?
That's right. Didn't one of our subscribers tell us that?
Yeah, his real name is Yuki Washington.
We also see Bev and Bobby sifting through the closets and, looking for a Halloween costume for Jericho. And how did they know about the tiger thing? Are they referring to that? Remember she was dressed like a tiger in that episode, Tiger? Yeah, because Bev or whichever one was like,
yeah.
Because they did say, you like to get wild every now and then.
They actually gave her the idea of getting dressed up for Halloween and going out and acting wild. And so anyway, I hadn't thought about that. It's curious though, because they weren't around during that time, or were they?
Ooh.
And are they going to be in all the rest of the episodes till the end?
Yeah, are they main characters now, right? Well, if you watch this scene coming up, I think you'll see the wheels are turning in Sean's head, right? Julian has arrived. You see people recognizing him from TV on the street, representing that things are, as Julian said, working out for you.
Love your show, Sean.
So yeah, she is making things work out for Sean.
Yeah, and Sean definitely seems like he's recognizing that.
Yeah. And why is Julian so uptight in this episode? He's like an old man. He does need a drink. He needs something.
I noticed you haven't been calling Julian Ron Weasley in this season.
Not once. Yeah, he's Julian now. He's officially Julian. Did you notice the pumpkin outfit that the Shining Twins put on Jericho? Dorothy does not give a good reaction. So Sean decides to go with a lobster costume instead.
Which is ironic because there are some theories out there that the big twist is going to be that Sean actually cooked the baby and it wasn't Dorothy's fault at all.
I can't get with that one.
Yeah. To me, it was a throwback to the lobster ice cream episode. So
we're lobster and he made the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what the costume was. It was a pot boiling.
Yeah.
With the little baby lobster. It was funny.
We're Team Sean.
Yeah.
So I think what they showed us in season 1 is actually what did happen, what transpired.
So then we got Dorothy sitting there complaining, woe was me and what kind of mother am I, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Musing over stuff because she has so much to do sitting there. She was like, I don't remember what his costume was. It's like, well, he was dead. That's why. He was dead last year.
He's a zombie.
He could have went as a zombie or a corpse.
Yeah.
And she did technically make that costume.
This whole next sequence, Dorothy is questioning what kind of mother she is.
A bad one.
What kind of mother can't remember her child's first costume?
A bad mother.
Again, right? And again, this isn't new news. This isn't the first time we've seen Dorothy realizing she has blocks of memory of missing time. Get her some ginkgo biloba and remember already. Jeez.
That's an 80s reference right
Hey, I'm
there.
an 80s girl.
Oh, okay.
They care, don't care. At one point, we see Leanne using the CCTV cameras doing surveillance on the neighborhood.
Yeah, that was smart. And she notices a new person moving into the house, but that's the same house as the Church of the Lesser Saint people moved into, was it last season?
I think you're right. Leanne thinks so too.
She sure does.
Yeah.
So maybe the church owns that house and they're just cycling people in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But this scene is totally giving me Emily in Paris vibes.
Who?
Emily in Paris. It's a show on Netflix. She's got the cute little beret on. It's a chick flick.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's during the part where she's handing out the, giving the homeless Dorothy's mom's old Halloween costumes, which I don't know why Dorothy's mom had so many Halloween costumes, but whatever. Here's the clip.
Can I tell you a secret? Sin can be fun.
It's funny she's telling her that sin, it can be fun when this girl's got a snake tattoo on her face. I think she understands sin, coming from a religious household. That was funny.
Oh my gosh. But we know where Dorothy got the nickname Queen of Halloween. Her mom had all those outfits.
Right.
So it did alarm me though when Leanne dragged and scared that little trick-or-treater into the house.
Yeah.
My God.
It gives you a real sense that Leanne is feeling herself. She's got the dagger on her back. She's ready to fight. That was also show that she doesn't know, socially. She's still socially awkward. She doesn't know what Halloween's about.
It certainly seems that way.
She seems shocked. I'm supposed to scare him. No.
Yeah, not like that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting costume they chose for Leanne. She tells Julian she's dressed as a doll. It really reminded me of like a marionettist, where, especially since Sean is dressed like a chef, which is like the puppet Uncle George gave
Right,
Dorothy
that was a Sean puppet
in season 1.
And he's dressed like it, and like she's pulling his strings. Maybe there's something there. We're really stretching in this episode.
I think it's a valid point.
She is controlling him, so
yeah.
you know.
There's also a man walking dressed as a tree, and I think that's an elm tree because that's what Uncle George said the puppet was made out of.
It's elm, from a very special tree that grows in our field.
Oh, it's...
Your husband.
Oh, of course. It's a chef. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, well, Toby's the Grim Reaper. That's what he...
Yeah, Leanne doesn't want to give him the time of day.
No, she keeps pushing his hands away and stuff.
I know. I noticed that. She's got places to go and people to kill. She may have been pushing his hands away because Julian was there. Because they were being he was being very flirty.
He was. I have a very specific beef here in this area of the show because Toby apologizes for his hands being sweaty when they were holding hands, but he's got gloves on. So it's like when they wrote that, they didn't even think about him doing that, and then the production team should have realized that. So
good observation.
But Toby had my favorite line in this episode, though.
What?
Well, they knock on the door, which is like the new neighbors, right? And the girl that answers, or both of them, are like, "Aren't you a little old to be trick or treating?"
Aren't you guys a little too old for this?
We have thyroid problems.
Whatever.
How old were you when you stopped trick-or-treating?
That was early, maybe 9, 10,
Oh,
10
I was
years
a lot
old.
older than you. I think I was 14 or 15 when I stopped. So, but continuing on the subject of trick-or-treaters, we see a little girl say, "Boo." Leanne says, "Was that scary? Do you think I'm scary?" And which, it made me think of that. Well, first, it makes me wonder if Leanne sees these kids as sinister. It reminded me a little bit of the Men in Black, the movie Men in Black, with Jay and little Tiffany.
8-year-old girl in the ghetto with quantum physics books. She's up to no good. Yeah.
Is it a possibility that that little girl is part of the Church of the Lesser Saints?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I didn't think so, but who knows. Leanne eventually finds herself confronted, though, by a guy in the same skull mask that Toby had. She shoos him away, right? And that guy follows her. She thinks it's Toby. He sneaks up on her and pulls out a knife. And she is happy. She smiles, gives him a Sparta kick in the chest, and then kicks the knife away, grabs his arm, says, "I'm not afraid anymore," and breaks his arm in graphic
That was brutal,
fashion.
and it turns out the kid was just messing around.
Yes. But you know what? That's what he gets. Because that little jerk, that's the same one that stomped on that guy's jack-o'-lantern in the beginning. Did you notice that?
I did.
So,
yeah. Do you think Leanne might be arrested for breaking that kid's arm?
I think she's got a pretty good self-defense thing. He
She
did
did
come
think-
at her with a realistic looking
It was
knife.
a rubber knife, but she thought it was real. She
Right,
really did.
right. But look at this ridiculous scene. Suddenly, she's using her powers, right, to scare this kid. All the lights in the street begin flickering and light bulbs bursting. It's like, I thought we'd be past that by now. She's already done that. Yeah, and it just, I don't know. It just seemed a little weak for this. Yeah.
Yeah. They've shown that before.
Yeah.
Lights flickering and
Nothing new.
Yeah.
Come on.
How many of you were fooled or by the okie doke
How many of you know what the okie doke is?
and thought that Roscoe was the ghost?
Yeah. See, I knew straight away. How? Because George, he always kind of leans to the right. So when he pulled that off, that's why I was like, I told you. But hey, some people were asking us why we thought Roscoe was a double agent, and you see it now here. He's playing both sides. He's really with the church, and everything he's doing with Leanne's group is just
To get him closer to Leanne.
Yeah, yeah. So George explains the whole thing here.
If she wins, there will be no world for your children. Chaos accelerates. The city will fall, and that's only the beginning. We need you. You've kept us close to the family.
Did you notice how Uncle George ghosted Sean earlier in the episode?
He did. When he was FaceTiming with Dorothy and taking the kid trick-or-treating, and Uncle George's like, how did he disappear and pull a Batman like that? I don't know. But what about Uncle George's teeth? You know what? If he was trying to convince me of something, I don't think I could take him seriously.
Ew, me neither. Between his feet and his teeth. You know, he needs to brush those teeth. He needs to get some white strips.
Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gargle with bleach or something. I don't know what he needs to do.
But Uncle George tells Roscoe in that alley that he's worried about Leanne's chaos spreading and how she's attacking kids. And
it's spreading to the park people.
Right.
Because they were acting all crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So by the end of the episode, we see Leanne giggling to herself. She goes back in the house. She tells Sean she loves Halloween. But Sean has made up his mind that he is going to do something. He's going to go against what he's been doing this whole time, and speaks to Dorothy in confidence at night, telling her he's prepared to do whatever he can to get rid of Leanne. What did you think of that? What did you think of the episode?
I mean, first of all, what I think of that is Sean choosing Dorothy over Jericho. You know, what are they going to do? Like, have Leanne live next door? It's where she's close enough to keep Jericho alive. Like, you know, it doesn't work that way. I think it's her will that keeps him alive, right? So I just, I don't understand what, it's like he doesn't even care himself about Jericho. He just wants Dorothy's approval now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to see Leanne just go, you know what? F it. F you guys. You know, fine. And turn Jericho back into a doll in Dorothy's arms, and whatever happens to Julian, and say, see, this is what you want, this is what you got.
What did you think about that scene with Leanne dancing and putting lipstick on her arm? You know, lipstick on. They were playing a song from M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Salika.
I think the scene was just to feature the song, to be honest. But on the bright side, I like the song a lot. It's my favorite song of hers yet.
It's a very neo soul.
Yeah, I'll put it on the playlist. I did like it.
Yeah,
but
the song was called All I Want.
Yeah. The scene didn't seem to do anything.
It didn't. No. It didn't. As you said earlier, I do think Sean is choosing Dorothy over Jericho, though. And maybe he thinks he can have his cake and eat it too. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
So I think he's come to terms with losing Jericho. You know, he knows Jericho died, so he doesn't want to lose Dorothy too. So
I don't see why.
But
I think he's better off with the kid. But
what'd you get from the episode? We didn't get much substance, but what did you get?
Okay, what I got from the episode, one, I kind of like the evil Leanne.
Yeah, you like the macabre.
Macabre Leanne was great. I enjoyed that part.
What did we learn?
Two, the dark figure is not the cult leader that we thought, of course, but Leanne's dark power maybe, or persona. And three, from the mouth of Uncle George, the world is going to end if they don't stop Leanne.
Yeah, that was kind of a reveal. The world is going to end. Let's make some wild predictions. Bill, you go first. Then we want you guys to go in the notes, but you go first.
Wild
Shoot for the stars. We might be right.
Okay, we've been saying that the Church of the Lesser Saints, they're probably the good guys. I think Leanne is going to be a demon or some supernatural creature that they've been holding back all this time. You know, so yeah, I think she's going to take Jericho away, maybe even Julian.
One of my predictions is that someone is going to die by beheading. And I think that because Dorothy was dressed up as Marie Antoinette in this episode. Is
that some foreshadowing? Remember, she was killed at the what do you call that thing? You know? It
wasn't Marie Antoinette. It was
in
France.
They took her head off.
And they're like, the Bev and Bobby are like, bonjour. Bonjour.
That's right. I didn't even think of that. That's really good.
So maybe see my other prediction is that they're all aliens. So I really hope they're not. Yeah. But we're going with crazy theories here. So
feel free to give your theories, like go out there, goes out there if you can.
Yeah, let us know. On that note, how many Uncle Georges would you give it?
I wanted to give it 1 Uncle George, but
wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it 2 just because I like macabre Leanne.
All right. I'm gonna give it 2 Uncle Georges.
Okay,
so let us know
right
what
on.
you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, we did
And
not.
if so, why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll catch you next week on episode 5, Neighbors.
Bye.
Bye.